I know that you have been confronting a lot of vandalization of your stores where you. I don't check the quality of the service most of the telecom. While you are in the middle of the call drops, before you know it, they are charging you. I noted the theft of data by telecom companies. You load your data 12 megabytes, whatever. Before you know it, the whole thing is done. How you do it, you don't know. And Nigerians are complaining. Um, I noted that there is need for you to upgrade and expand your own network infrastructure. I noted the need for you to invest in new technologies and fight to stay competitive and provide 800 for running through the whole gamut of some of the problems. But the issue of broadband penetration remains important to me. I was in this committee in the 7th Assembly 2011 to 15, and I know that at the time you are licensed, you know, the expectations are that you penetrate into the hinterlands. So I want to find out from you what is the level of broadband penetration vis-a-vis where we were coming from and today. Then he also spoke about rock calls, but I also want to retrace because it affects me even personally. So I wonder those who are in the rural communities what they go through. Oftentimes in Prince and Princess, very close here, you stay in the room and you can't get network. You come to the sitting area and you have network. I want to find out what is responsible for this. Then three, your corporate social responsibility. In other clients, we know that some big operators are known for particular things, maybe sponsoring football and actual football teams. Here, I'm aware you do pick and choose, maybe take a few debts to some schools, some communities. But I can tell you that for the Nigerian public, they do not regard you as partners in progress. They regard you as people who just take their money and do not put back in terms of corporate social responsibility. I'm not saying you're not doing at all, but I'm saying you're not doing enough. There has to be particular sectors that you should be interested in. For instance, football, and it's there to Nigerians there.
It's our rights. We should be able to communicate. It's the way the world has. I used to tell joke with in those days, if you cannot write, you can only turn print. Okay, some services are denied you. Okay, I mean, if you can't get a bank account, for example. But right now, if you cannot use data services, you are illiterate. You are illiterate. The fact that you cannot use data services in the global world today, you are illiterate. And that's just a fact. So it is a right. We should be thinking of how we can ensure we have a very young and growing youth population. Huge, a great asset. You can imagine what they're able to do. One time I was in Abuja here, I went to a restaurant and I saw a group of young boys, you know, and they're all with their laptops and they're all making money. They're all engaged, they're all making money. They don't need to, they are not, 9 to 5 as a way out, as a means of living is changing. It's changing. The world is
CEOs here and executives who will also take on some of them. Now, please kindly permit me to go back to the issue of accessible funding. And I know that our president has touched on it. Honorable Kuye made very vital points in respect to local content and the fact that, and our distinguished honorable representative from Taraba State also mentioned the fact that over 30 million Nigerians have never seen a mobile phone, and that what would the committee do to stop domination of bigger players? I believe that this honorable committee will take a look at the issues of local content. Local content is in our best interest. Electronic banking, we underpin this. Every sector, agriculture, healthcare, transportation, governance, you name it. Revenue collection. You see, today we don't collect taxes. Honorable members, we don't collect taxes. How do we collect taxes? We have manual tax collection. What happens with manual tax collection? You know there's pilferage. We don't need to tell anybody. You have tickets, right? Tickets. An honorable member mentioned here that we should have small localized service providers serving in different communities, providing services. You have an area of town, you provide service there. You have an area of town, we provide service there. It is the same way in the United States. Those who are coming to tell us this should be your policies. You have small telecom companies who have been in families for generations. Rural cooperatives, do they receive funding? Yes. There are specialized agencies, rural electrification agency, small business administration, providing funding for them. And these people are providing services in those rural areas. We know rural-urban migration is a problem. If you have these telecommunication facilities in the local governments, guess what? The farmers will be more productive, because you can provide e-agriculture services, you can provide e-health services, you can provide e-commerce services. The farmer sitting in any area, in any local government in this country can do business with an international player. Have a website. Honorable senators, House of Rep members, please, the global environment has changed. My apologies. We require local content, and local content requires funding. We cannot play as major players without funding. One other thing, please, I just want to touch on something quickly. Another person will take over. The level of broadband penetration in the country. We have achieved over 70%. Issues of drop calls, and if you're sitting in one area of the room and you go downstairs, you don't receive service, is an issue of signal strength. If we increase investment, especially deployment of fiber optics covering base stations, will have more capacity to be able to deliver those services. Somebody else will pick up from here. Thank you.